In this video, we're going to learn how to take our data from our data table on absorbance versus concentration and create a graph. We're going to go ahead and do this in Google Sheets. So go ahead and open up a Google spreadsheet. And what we're going to do is we're going to put in our data. Now, when I go to put in my data, I like to title what I'm graphing. And you put in the x-axis first. So we are wanting concentration of our solutions to be on the top. And the unit for concentration is molarity. So I'm going to go ahead and put that in my first column. My second column is going to be my y-axis, and that's absorbance. And we recorded our absorbance at, what was it, 635 nanometers. There we go. And then I'm just going to go ahead and go to my data table and put my information in. Now my stock solution was 0.150 molar. And then after that, let's see, we did some dilution. So we've got 0.0570, 0.0360, 0.0750, and 0.0230. And the absorbance, I got a reading of 0.335, 0.117, 0.079, 0.157, and 0.043. And the question before that, it asks you about having a 0, or a point at the origin. And if you remember when we ran our blank, we put in distilled water and we calibrated it. Well, that was 0 concentration, and we should have got hopefully an absorbance reading close to 0. So it kind of makes sense to include that in our data points. Now, to have the Excel sheet or the spreadsheet create the graph, we're going to highlight the 2 columns, go to Format, Insert, there we go, Chart. There we go. Okay, and what I want you to notice is your y-axis is already labeled, your x-axis is already labeled, because I put that in my, on top of my, where we go. I'm going to slide this over so I can actually see my data. There we go. Yeah, so if you take a look at the top of the columns, I had already put that in there. And then they actually added this to the top of your data table as the title of your data table. So it's really nice, already set up. Now, if I click on the 3 dots there, you can do edit chart. And one of the things I want you to notice is it says scatter chart. If it doesn't automatically do an XY scatter chart, make sure that you select that because that's what you want to see. Now we've got to mess around with this a little bit. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to customize it. And we don't really have to do anything with axis titles or anything like that. But we are going to change the grid lines a little bit. So go down. We probably want to add some minor grid lines to this. Let's see there. Let's do same thing on the horizontal axis. It might make it a little bit easier to read. So I'm going to add some minor grid lines. For my minor grid lines, I want maybe 5 like lines between there, or actually I want 4 because I want it to be 0.5, 0.06, 0.07, 0.08, 0.09, and 0.10. That makes that a little bit easier to read. We're also going to look for something called a trend line. So if you go through here and you look at, there's a bunch of things you can do to your chart to change it. If you go through and look at series, there is something in series that is called a trend line that draws a best fit line through all my points. So I don't have to use a ruler to do that. The program will do that for me. The other, I think, thing that's nice, I'm going to go ahead and have it show my R squared. We can talk about what that means. And then I'm also going to click on custom, and I'm going to add the equation. Okay, So close that down, take a look at your graph. You've got your y-axis, x-axis already labeled. You've got the title, you've got an r² value, you have y equals mx plus b. So when you get data for the absorbance of your unknown, I'm going to make a copy of this page. On your lab, it says something about drawing a best fit line. That's what the trend line is. And then how well do these straight lines fit the data? That's actually what your r² value is going to help you determine. And then the last part is looking at the unknown concentration. So you can actually use that trend line to predict what the concentration is of any unknown solution once you know the absorbance. So let's take a look at this particular graph. Snip it. So you may want to print your graph out for this. I'm going to try to do this right on here. Let's go ahead and just do the full thing. Okay, so let's say my unknown solution had an absorbance of 0.2. So that's right there. I can estimate using my graph what the concentration of the solution is by just extrapolating over till I hit that point about right there on the graph, and then going down to figure out what the concentration would be. So it looks like it's just over, let's see, 0.05, 0.06, 0.07, 0.08, 0.09. So I'd say maybe about 0.092. Okay. I think that's it. I think that'll get you through the lab. Try it out and see how you do.